If you are new to cooking or the microwave is as close as you have been to a home cooked meal, you might want to start here. Boiling water is one of the easiest things to learn on your cooking journey and is the starting point for any number of recipes, including pasta, oatmeal, or rice. Each of these foods starts with the same instructions but has subtle differences in carrying out the individual tasks. You want to ask yourself a few things when you boil water or any liquid. What does it mean to boil water? Well, water boils at 212 degrees, the temperature at which water usually evaporates. We say usually because water boils at different temperatures depending on the altitude at which you boil it. When your water is at a full boil, there's a lot of movement in the pan. How much liquid do you want to heat? Usually determines what size pan you use. If your pan is too small, the water may boil over. If it's too large, especially when you are cooking grains, the water may evaporate too quickly and the food being cooked may not absorb as much liquid as it should and therefore may not fully cook. What size pot do you need? The amount of liquid and the size of the pot is usually determined by the recipe. If the size of the pot is not indicated in the recipe, use the smallest size possible pan for the task at hand. If you are cooking pasta or beans, you need a 1.5 gallon or a 6-quart pot with water filled 3/4 of the way to the top of the pot. If you are cooking rice or some other grain, a 1-quart saucepan will usually do. For a single serving of oatmeal, a 1-pint saucepan will usually do. What level of heat should you use? How much heat to use when boiling water may seem simple, but it is not always so. If you have an electric cooktop or are bringing a large pot of water to a boil, you can almost always use high heat. But if you have a gas stove and are using a small saucepan, you should turn your heat on as high as possible without the flames coming up the side of the pan. Otherwise, you can scorch the outside of the pan, and if you have plastic handles, you can melt them. How long will it take to bring the liquid to a boil? A cup of water to make oatmeal can boil in 2 minutes or less. Boiling enough water to cook pasta can take up to 10 minutes. Putting a tight-fitting lid on the pot while it is heating will help the water boil faster, and contrary to some, cold water does not come to a boil more quickly than hot water. Here are a few more tips for boiling water. 1. Never use hot tap water for cooking. Hot water can corrode the metallic parts in hot water heaters, and older pipes may contain lead. Cold water does not boil faster than hot water. It's a fun urban myth, but simply not true. Salted water does not boil faster than unsalted water. Only add salt if your recipe calls for it, and you normally use salt when cooking. Put a lid on the pot. It holds heat and will bring the liquid to a boil more quickly. And don't forget that at higher altitudes, liquids boil at lower temperatures. Have fun.